Hello, welcome to the Gaming Sound Podcast. My name is Pedro, and today I'm joined here once again with my good friend Tito. Tito,
Hi.
how you doing today?
Tito. I'm fine. Getting ready to get this started.
All right. Okay. So before every time we discuss the news, we'd like to talk about the game on question of the week. And this week's question is, what are some of the most memorable musics we have ever played in a game? This is mostly has to do with our experiences playing the game and kind of like how the soundtrack influence our memories from it. So Tito, what is a memorable or soundtrack or theme from a music that always pops in your head?
Well, mine was anything Donkey Kong Country related. Well, the first two anyway, because the music is just yes, it's so good, and it's not just about the music. It's about the place, the time, where you were in that point of your life. Like, every time you hear music, memories just come flooding back. When I was 10 years old, and it was kind of my reintroduction to gaming after I had kind of let it go for a while.
Yeah.
And it was just such a great time for me, and it was crazy for me to be, oh my god, I can actually save my game.
Like those early NES games, you had to basically play from the beginning.
Yeah, and and you always had that angry moment where you ran out of lives and you had to play all those levels again to get to the save. But yeah. But you see, I just start talking about that music, and it goes to all of that,
Yeah, now you're talking about like now being able to save. I remember my early years of gaming. My mom, because I had a PS, no, I had a GameCube. It took my mom 2 years after I bought the GameCube to get me a memory card. So I played all those games she bought me. Like, I basically tried to play it as long as I could and see how far I got, because I played it so many times I just remember every first level.
Yeah.
But like for me, my most memorable music, well, let's start from broad terms. Of course, Nintendo they have a big emphasis in music in terms of music. They put a lot of focus in that, and I feel like most of the games have memorable music. We talk about Legend of Zelda, the theme, the Mario Brothers. We talk about Donkey Kong. We talk about Super Smash Brothers, which I can't wait for the soundtrack for Super Smash Brothers to come out, because I really want. Well, because I'm getting it for Club Nintendo, so I'm really gonna get blasted into that.
And if you collect those soundtracks,
I know if
for hundreds of dollars.
I know, like if you like go into Smash Wii U and you just like sit down and listen to the soundtrack, there are a lot of soundtracks in there. But for a specific one, I will have to say it's hard, because I play a lot of good games that have music in them. I'll say for this example, since you mentioned Donkey Kong, I guess I'll mention Kingdom Hearts 2. Just like the composer for that series is just magnificent. She I don't recall her name, but like every time she just has a great piano like solo in those music. And it's a big emphasis on the piano and the keyboard, and just to see those or hear those tones just reminds me back of when I started playing that game.
You should have just said insert Japanese RPG here.
Basically, yeah. Most RPGs have great music. I think. Would you say that that's like kind of like a cultural thing, like in terms of development?
Well, probably, because if you look at most American games, the music is not memorable. No, it's really not. It's like really, really cheap, watered down, like B action movie music.
Yeah. Oh, another example that I have for music, even though people probably hate this one, Sonic Adventure Battle 2. I think the music for that is great. I don't care what you say.
I mean, I can't really hate on the music if I never bothered with the game. I never heard the music.
It's a good like kind of like pop punk kind of sound. So, like, it's really good. Or Jet Set Radio. Jet Set Radio is another honorable mention. All right. So our first story of the week is a report of both Guitar Hero and Rock Band coming to next gen for the Xbox One and the PS4. And this is an interesting story, because back in like 2005 and 2006, Guitar Hero was like the thing to get. That like people went crazy getting those guitar bundles and playing the game on the PS2, Xbox 360. And then Rock Band came on, and they had like the drums, they had the mic, and that was just like a phenomenon that happened like in less than what, like less than 10 years, like 7-8 years.
Those are
that was a quick fad.
Those are great party games, but the problem is, you only need to release one. You only need to release one and make the rest DLC. You don't have to keep releasing $60 retail copies of what is essentially DLC.
Yeah, like that. One of my best memories from high school has to do with Guitar Hero and Rock Band, getting together and play those games. But like what you said, like they just kept releasing games and games. Even though Rock Band does release DLC as of today, they still release.
But that's what made it even worse. You're releasing DLC and you're releasing full retail copies of certain bands.
Well, think about it. Who releases both Guitar Hero and Rock Band?
Activision.
Guess. Yeah, both of those franchises are published by Activision, which they are famously known for milking their franchises.
But that is literally all you had to do. Mm-hmm. Just and nobody would have cared. They would have kept buying, and because you know what, you get more than your money's worth when it comes to that game.
Yeah, you.
That's hours and hours. That was literally a game where you could have a game night and you would plan on playing something else, but you didn't. You just kept going with that one because it was so fun and you got everybody involved.
Yeah, like in high school, me and my friend Tyler, we had like a Rock Band tournament back in our school, and I remember we just we thought it was gonna help. Maybe just a few people that are gonna come over to their classroom and play. But no, we had like over 50 people come and play like in the game, because that is such an addictive game. And like I mentioned this in the Reading Pending podcast a week earlier, that Rock Band and Guitar Hero kind of had the same phenomenon that Wii Sports had in terms of anybody can play it. Anybody can go ahead and touch the buttons or sing the mic or play the drums, because it's such a interactive game that the whole family can play. Same as Wii Sports. The Wii Sports had the same thing that everybody could play.
Yeah, gave you the illusion that you were good at something.
You could have grandma sing like the old like 70s song.
And it's the same thing with a game that maybe wasn't as popular, but it was popular in arcades anyway, which was Dance Dance Revolution.
What? That is still popular. Well, not in North America, but it was popular back in the day.
I mean, you used to have people that damn near had DDR tournaments.
I know.
DDR for life.
That was such a cool
people who didn't even look like they were dancing, but they knew exactly where to step. They looked like typewriters or something.
Yeah, and like they had like the poles in the back, and you see like, and when you like there was an intense DDR battle when there was someone was like putting their hands on the pole in the back and just doing like their feet. So yeah, like, do you think with like the reports, because it hasn't been confirmed yet by either Activision, Harmonix, that like they're releasing these games? So do you think that it has a future in this next gen?
Of course they are, because first of all, like I said, you got a new generation, so there haven't been any yet, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have either shelved, put it in their closet, or just pawned all the old gen systems by now. Mm-hmm. So. And I'm pretty sure these are going to get a whole new audience to buy these systems now.
Let's say if it releases, because on the report for Guitar Hero said like they were going to announce it on E3. Do you think that it will be something that you buy, or you wait?
Maybe.
I had in gaming, and to relive that on next gen, which apparently they're changing the kind of like the animation for Guitar Hero specifically, saying they want to have a more mature looking game, which I think that kind of detracts from the game, because I feel the reason why it's fun is because it's cartoony. But I'll still play it. If it has a great set list of songs, I'll have a great time with it.
Yeah, but now if we're doing Guitar Hero now, are we gonna do Rock Band again? Are we gonna do DJ Hero again? Is all that stuff coming back now?
I mean, if they think there's an audience that will buy it, then sure. It's basically if either Guitar Hero or Rock Band releases and it sells bonkers, then you'll see a big resurgence on that field again.
Like I said, I really feel like when they do release that, those are gonna be console sellers.
Yeah, I think they will be. They are meant to be Yeah, basically they're like for the mainstream audience that like they just play those mainstream games, those party games per se.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I think the Kinect would probably benefit for something like that. You know, maybe you wouldn't if they made it so you didn't even need the peripherals. You could use the Kinect for all that crap, but
You would just air guitar that
yeah,
shit?
but they wouldn't do that because they want money.
No, of course not. Okay, well, our next topic for this week is Batman Arkham Knight rated M.
He said Bart. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, Bart.
New Simpsons game?
No, not the Bartman. Batman. Actually, this is a little side story, but like back when I was a kid, my mom she told me that she got me a Batman game. I was like, oh really? That's awesome. But what she meant was she got me a Pac-Man game.
Nice.
It was Namco Museum. Great collection of Namco games.
That sounds horrible.
So yeah, it was a really good game. But anyway, our top for this week is how Arkham Knight is rated M. And it's interesting because the previous Arkham games were rated teen for teen. So do you think this is a shift in the series or something they just accidentally made?
I don't know. I guess it's gonna get a whole lot darker, and there are gonna be a lot of kids getting an adult or their older teenage brother to get them the game, pretty much.
Well, it's like I don't think it's a big deal with games because a lot of us played M-grade games when we were kids, and like I think it's more of an issue when it comes to movies because you actually have to have an actual.
Well, to be fair, our age difference, there were no M-rated games when I was a kid.
Okay.
That's all you.
I mean, didn't like the whole rated ESRB start back when Mortal Kombat came out?
Yeah, but every game is an M-rated game now. We had Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and Sonic. We didn't have, stuff like Max Payne didn't come out till I was 16, 17 years old.
Well, yeah, but that comes with like just how
Was Twisted Metal rated M or teen?
I don't remember. It's been a while that came out. But yeah, like more. I think it's just shows how the times have come. That like games are mostly rated M, and like that's kind of like.
But they know what they're doing though. Like if you're a kid, right, and you're playing games, there are no games made for kids now unless they're crappy movie tie-ins. And you think kids are playing those games? No. Their dumb moms and dads are buying them for them. That's the only reason they sell. Because they're like, okay, these are the only games my kids can play.
Or Skylanders.
Yeah. But what your kid's doing is being like, hey, buy this game for me.
Oh yeah, but there's a lot of clueless parents that just buy whatever their kids want.
Well, let's take my wife's little brother, for example. All the games he plays are games that he technically should not be playing. He plays Halo, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Infamous Second Son.
That's the M-rated game?
Which are technically games that he should not be playing.
But I think that mostly has to do with just the parenting of the child. Because I feel that if there's as an M-rated game, and you think your kid's mature enough to play it, I think you should be able to say, okay, this is just a game. You shouldn't be able to
like,
do these types of things.
A game like Mortal Kombat. You think adults are going to be the only ones playing that game? There's name recognition there. When a kid hears Mortal Kombat, he's going to be like, ooh, Mortal Kombat, cool. He's not going to be like, Mortal Kombat, mature rated. I can't play that,
I don't know. It's just like I've been playing M-rated games for my life, so it really hasn't bothered me a lot.
Street Fighter, right? A game that never always had a kind of a E rating, kind of understood.
Yeah.
The last Street Fighter game was rated teen. You think it was only teenagers play that game? I don't.
No. Well, I mean, teenagers and up were the ones that actually gave like tons of hours in that game.
But what the ESRB does is just like the parental advisory sticker. Makes a kid go, oh, I really want to hear that or play that now. That doesn't detract,
No, it's something interesting. But like for these Batman Arkham games, they were teens, so they were mostly people can play them. But so you think like there's gonna be a darker tone for this game? It's gonna be.
I think the only reason it's rated M is maybe because the violence will be a lot more graphic. But the only thing in this game that I kind of see as a plot hole is that, Batman's not supposed to kill people. Why does the Batmobile have guns?
They're made of rubber. Duh.
Sure. It looks like he's killing people in the gameplay. I'm like, okay.
They're made out of rubber. They're sleeping bullets. They make you go to sleep.
The Batmobile tank.
They take the people to the farm.
I guess.
Yeah, to the faraway farm.
I guess.
Wait, do you put your pets together? That's where they go.
Well, I made a bet with my wife that we're trying to if I lose more weight than her, she has to buy me Batman.
That's a good motivation to lose weight, I guess.
So, and it comes out in June. So
in June, so you got what like 4 months to go?
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. You gotta get crunching now. Well, like that's I think that's all we can talk about this topic. Just there really isn't much to add since the game isn't really out yet.
It's a mature game now, guys.
It's a mature game. Look forward to it. Okay, well, our last topic is something that Tito is very passionate about. Is how this is current trend with games, the ending of games having to be played behind the paywall. Would you like to further on that, Tito?
Well, you have video games like Destiny, which people are paying $60 for what is essentially a $20 game with 2 or 3 more expansion packs. And then you have a game that kind of went under the radar as far as this goes. It was called Asura's Wrath. And you played the game, you got no ending. You didn't get the ending until you had to pay for DLC, which is, come on now, is this what we're doing now? Like, we're locking the endings of games, locking it out of the original game and still having people pay full price. If you're gonna make a game episodic, make it episodic then.
But I think it's just how, because the gaming development has become more and more expensive as today's come. You can see more games being more expensive to make, like the AAA games, and that's why they take longer and require a lot of time to make. And I think makes in a economic standpoint, it makes sense for them to release a game and then just release DLC.
But I don't blame the developers. I blame the publishers. And the publishers are the reason that indie games are doing so well. Why am I going to buy one AAA game that maybe gets me 3-4 hours of gameplay and then a bunch of DLC when I can buy 3 indie games for the same price?
Well, it just goes back to the AAA / the indie battle when it comes to your preference. Indie games are having their rise right now. They're kind of having like the indie renaissance. There's a big emphasis now on indie gaming because they offer more for your buck than what AAAs are doing now.
And then, like I said, it gets very formulaic. Everything is dark and gray. It's apocalypse, zombies. Everybody's dying. Everybody's sad. Everybody's emo. Like, can we get happy?
I know. Like an example that well, 2 examples for the most part that I played last year that I just hated was Shadow Mortar. I think it's a great game. I enjoyed this game a lot, and then when it came to the ending, I was just disappointed. This game had a lot of potential. Well, it did. It was fun. Like, I think you should play it, but like with the ending, it just ended with you expecting to get DLC and finish the story, and that's not fair for the player.
Well, games basically end now with, all right, you played this one. Now just know that there will be a sequel. Now enjoy your season pass.
Yeah, like you basically buy $60 games and then you buy a $30 season pass. You're basically spending $90 to get a full experience, which is not fair at all. Even though that's what most games cost back in the day.
Well, like I said, games were actually more expensive. You would pay $70-$80 for an NES game. So, and again, you put all this money behind something. Okay, you put money behind it, but you're not really putting much substance.
No. Like
if you look at indie developers, that's how they look at it. you have bloated budgets and marketing for what? What's the last AAA game that you can really consider a classic?
Last of Us.
I mean, I feel like that game was kind of overrated too, but
GTA
that's
5?
just me. Yeah.
GTA 5 gave you a whole lot for what you paid, even though the online is. Yeah, I don't have a word for it online. It is good. It's just like when it really released, it was just disappointing, and now it's getting better. And to this day, we still don't have heist missions.
Well, like I said, I think, just like they released GTA 5, I think a lot of people would want a Red Dead Redemption HD as well. Or HHD.
I would love a Red Dead Redemption. That was like such a good quality game.
Yep.
And another game that like was promised to be like this game-changing game is Destiny, but it did not have any story included in the game. It was something that you had to pay extra to know what the hell are you doing. And that's so there's a reason why like I didn't play. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, even though the gameplay is fun and it's not really nothing that's mind blowing, but you expect to have a story from the people that brought you Halo. I think one of the best stories in our first person shooters.
And Tyrion phoned it in. He was not very Tyrion like.
Oh yeah, the wizards in the middle.
Yeah, that's some of the most horrible voice work I have ever heard.
I mean, I don't blame him. I blame mostly the voice director in that department. But like, yeah, that was a bad performance from him.
I just remember seeing that on E3 and just seeing everybody's reactions.
It was funny. It was laughable.
That was wow. He just phoned it in.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we have for today. Our sound off for this week is what recent games have we been playing. So, Tito, what recent games have you been playing?
I've been playing Sleeping Dogs, essentially GTA with Kung Fu. And it is quite fun. Just running around everywhere and buying a bunch of Chinese food. Hey, good times.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna cheat for this one because I haven't been playing this games this week. So I've been reading this book called Ready Player One. So that counts as a game, right? So I think this is a game. This is a book that you should check out. It is about this post apocalyptic world where people are connected to the Oasis, also known as the Matrix. And it's a good game, and it's basically a love story to those people that were born or raised or influenced by the 80s and the culture of that time, since it makes a lot of references to that time.
It's like Sword Art Online for you anime nerds.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's Sword Art Online, but a lot bleaker. Yeah. Well, that's the time that we have for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at The Game and Sound, on Facebook at The Game and Sound, on iTunes at The Game and Sound Podcast, and on YouTube at youtube.com/The Game and Sound. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.